It was when Greg Kreis moved to Humboldt to pursue his education at Humboldt State University that he fell in love with this community and its people. Kreis served in the Public Defender's Office for 7 years, 5 of them managing the Conflict Counsel Office. And in 2017, Governor Brown appointed him to the Humboldt County Superior Court. His professional trajectory reflects a deep commitment to public service and a passion for the fair administration of justice. Judge Kreis has represented Humboldt on statewide committees for the Judicial Council of California. Whether on the Family and Juvenile Law Advisory Committee, the Tribal Court State Court Forum, or the Family Law Curriculum Committee, he has carried the voice of Humboldt County to the broader legal landscape. Greg Kreis is running for re-election in the March 2024 primary.
Over the last 20 years, my experience has been varied in the law. I started out as a law student, and while I was a law student, I worked at California Indian Legal Services. I did that for 2 years. That got me very interested in tribal law and working with tribal governments. I then decided that I wanted to get involved with criminal defense work because I wanted to be a trial attorney. I also wanted to help people who were down, people who didn't have any money, indigent people who really needed someone to support them when the weight of the government was on them, charging them with a crime. So I did that, and that has been the main area of law as an attorney. I did that for 14 years. I then became a judge. When I was appointed to be a judge, my first assignment was the family law court, which was a great experience, a sad experience. There's so much sadness in family law court, families being torn apart, falling apart. But I like to be a part of it and try to ease them through the legal system. So I did that for 4 years, and I then went into a more varied trial judge role where I could get anything, criminal law. Throughout that, I also did probate law. So I conservatorships, guardianships. I get to do adoptions, which are one of the happiest things you get to do when you're a judge. Currently, I'm in dependency, and that's when parents are going through a hard time. Usually, sadly, it is around drug addiction or alcoholism, where folks are just not able to take care of themselves, and they certainly can't take care of a child. I love to be a part of that because I'm able to help them find a solution and direct them towards how to be a better parent. It takes a huge team of people from the county to their lawyers in the dependency panel, but that also can be a very sad place. But at the same time, at the end of the day, when you get to tell those people they're closing the case and they get to have their child back full time because of all the work they did, it's probably one of my favorite things that I've done now as a judge. So I went into law, decided that law would be the best career for me. After working with Native American tribes when I was at Humboldt State undergrad. At that point, I realized that there are groups of people who need support, assistance, that I wanted to be a part of that, to help people to get a leg up. And I saw what had happened to the Native Americans in this country and thought I wanted to be a part of that and a part of the tribal governments. So that's what first got me interested in being an attorney. I am currently registered as an independent, and the reason I am is after a lifetime of being a Democrat in a Democratic family, and the polarization of our two-party system, I wanted to make sure that when people looked into me, attorneys, litigants, and if they saw that I'm a Democrat, then they may have some assumptions about what kind of rulings I'd make, how I think, how I feel. But what people don't understand is once you're on the bench, you put on that black robe and you're nothing. You're not a Democrat, you're not a Republican. And I just wanted to accentuate that by taking that party affiliation off of my name. I agree with some Republican, some independent, some peace and freedom. I mean, everyone has ideas. I want to make sure when litigants come in front of me, they know that I'm not up there as any party. I have no party preference. I'm there to hear the facts that are in front of me for that case and just apply the law to the facts. Some of the other rewards, other than the specific families that I feel like I can help, this job is a sense of community activism or community involvement. So I don't have a lot of time because of work hours and the position itself to go out and do a lot of things that I normally would do or have done in the past. but I feel like this job is community service, as was when I was a public defender. If I felt that was a very community service based position, there's other things that I did, but not consistently, because my job really was what I gave to the community, and what I love about being a judge now. When preparing for cases, whether it's family law, dependency, or a criminal matter, you get your cases 2 days before. Staff brings them up. You have a chance to fully read through them. Any issues that you see that might come up, you can do legal research if you need to. Dependency has a lot of reports, so I spend a lot of time reading reports, reviewing reports prior to the court day, so that when I go in there, I have a good idea of what may or may not happen. I'm often asked, what are some of the challenges I face as a judge? And the day-to-day cases are the obvious challenge, but one of the difficult things as a judge is I'm not allowed to talk about cases that are ongoing. So people can criticize judges, and everybody faces this, whether it's in the hallways of the court or on the internet or in comments, and judges don't have the ability to get on and defend themselves. What we do have is the ability to be corrected when we make mistakes with the appellate court, and I value that. The Judicial Council educates judges, but judges aren't perfect. So we may hear a case, it may be a 2-week-long murder case or a month-long murder case, and somewhere in there, a judge may make a mistake, or an attorney may not ask a judge to do something, and in the end, the judge doesn't do it, and the appellate court says, this is what you should have done. It happens all the time, and it's actually one of the best parts of our judicial system, is that we have a check and balance on what we do as judges, because it's so important, because we impact people's lives in such a personal way that it would be ludicrous to think that a judge sits up there, can take all this information in, and never make a mistake, or never do it the exact way the appellate court thinks you should do it. So that becomes very frustrating as a judge, because you're doing the best you can. You're reviewing, you want fairness, you want openness in the courtroom, transparency, and you want to make sure you're making good decisions, and we strive for that every day. So I think that's one of the challenges that I face as a judge, and I know other judges I've talked to face the same challenges. That's one thing I like about this election, is that people are going to be able to ask me about some things, and I can explain that to them, is that, this is how the system works, and it's a great system, one of the best systems in the world, and that is because we have dedicated judges that are always, because they're human, going to make human mistakes, but we get to be corrected to help people going through the justice system to get the right result in the end.